Welcome in, everyone. Hello, hello. We've got a smaller group today, which is totally fine. We're excited to see everyone here. I'm going to give it a moment or two to let people come in, get situated. If you're comfortable with it, turn on your camera. I like seeing faces. I do see some lovely pictures in there, which is great. It also just helps me learn who you are. So again, welcome in. Get yourselves comfortable. We'll get started in just a moment while we have a few of these stragglers coming on in. Wonderful. Looking good. And if you want, go ahead and get started in the chat. This is definitely interactive. We're here for you, and we're here to exchange ideas. So get started in the chat. Feel free to raise your hand if you've got questions at any time. We're happy to help answer those questions. But today we are here. We'll get started in just a moment, like I was saying. But we're here to discuss a couple different features on the platform and to help answer those questions that come up. I know that we've got some new to Cadre users on here, and we've got some people who joined from the very beginning. That's wonderful. Everyone is welcome. Beth, hello, so good to see you. It was so nice to meet you at IMEX as well. For anyone who was there and I didn't get to meet, I am so sorry. It was a busy week last week, but I'm really glad that I was able to see so many freelancers, so many of our freelancers out there, which is really exciting. And it's just nice to be back in person, I think, as well. So I know it's technically our second year of being back in person with events, but it's still a novelty to me, I think. So bear with me. So why don't we get started? We're a couple minutes after. That's perfect. Welcome, everyone. I am Kate Zeitvogel. I am the Director of Customer Success here at Cadre. So I am here to make sure that you know how to use Cadre and our clients know how to use Cadre. So again, feel free to reach out with any questions at any time. That chat is going strong, which is wonderful. And again, if you happened to be at IMEX last week, I was there and it was wonderful. And it's so nice to see people again. I'm joined by a couple members of my team, the customer success team here at Cadre. We've got Lana Wass over here, who's based here in Chicago. We've also got Bianna Spence, who's based down in North Carolina. I say down because I'm in the Chicago area too. Her weather is a little nicer than ours today, but Bianna will be driving the platform for us today, showing us around different aspects of it. And Lana will be helping show us around as well, pointing out different features that she's been focusing on and different questions that our support team have been receiving frequently that we can help address that way as well. We've got a little straggler joining us today as well, Dawn Penfold, who is the president of Meeting Jobs. Meeting Jobs is our sister company. So if you are looking for a more full-time permanent position, Dawn is absolutely that person to get you that gig in this industry. I'm excited to have Dawn here with us today because we're mostly focused today on how to receive reviews, how to build up that feedback and those reviews and ratings within Cadre. But before we ever even get there, we need to get contracted for a project in here. And I know many of you have gotten a contract or two, which is fantastic. But one of the things that we frequently are asked, and one of the things that we have noticed, are pitches out there. How do you get contracted? How do you write a good pitch? So we wanted to start out today, especially since it's October, you know, it's postseason for baseball. I figured I've got baseball on the brain. Pitches are always in high demand there. Pitches are in high demand here. I'm going to make that correlation and make that happen. So Bianna, if you could show us around a little bit, we've got a couple of examples that we would love to show everyone. We've noticed, we took a look at a few projects that were posted recently. So many of you have probably seen this posting. Many of you may have even made an offer on this posting. Just to give you a quick idea of what it looks like, this is just what the client sees on their side. They're posting all of those details. We've got mentions in there of being in the Chicago area, needing some technology expertise in there. So a lot of great details provided by the client. And as you can take a look, and we'll see if Bianna keeps scrolling, quite a few of you made offers on this project, which is great. And this is we've blurred out pictures and a few other details for anonymity. But to give you an idea, it all stacks up a lot like this. We have, for this particular client, they've received, I don't know, about 10 or so different offers in here. So what all does that look like? As you can see, it all stacks up right in here. But what makes a good pitch? So Bianna, if we could scroll through and just take a look at some of those pitches in there, so we can see what some people are sending over. I know in the past we've mentioned it's always a good idea to add specifics into your pitch that harken back to the specific posting, because of course that's going to be the best way to grab someone's attention. But being more detailed is always going to be a good idea. So having decades of experience, that's a great idea. But when was the last time you did this? How large scale of a meeting was this? What technology did you use to manage that housing for that large scale meeting? Having the general idea is great, but having more specifics will drive it home even more. And Don, please feel free to jump in with other pointers as well, because I know that you've got a great eye for this, especially being on the permanent side of things. So again, please feel free to jump in as you see fit. So for Nicole here, 10 years experience, that's wonderful. Housing, again, housing and registration, that's great because that is mentioned in the posting. But again, let's get as detailed as possible. Presumably people in here have decades of experience. So just how long, or tell us when the last time was that you last did registration and housing. Again, what technology did you use? As you saw on the posting, there's a lot of technology posted in there. So if you have that expertise, call it out. It's going to be the best way to get your foot in the door there.
Kate, can I add that the size of the meetings that you handled, that's important. Where the meeting was. I mean, even though this is maybe an online opportunity, they want to see size. They want to see the amount of work that you had to put into it. They also want to see your excitement for the position. They want to say, I would love to work on this opportunity and work with you. Show your excitement that you want to be part of their world.
I think those are great suggestions. And it's true regardless of whether you're looking for that permanent versus contract position. And yes, I know that you are limited to the number of characters, so make those characters as juicy and as worthwhile as possible. And it might take a couple of drafts. I know I'm very good at talking. I'm not so great at being concise with my words, but having some of those drafts, being able to plug in those specifics from that job posting are going to make a huge difference for you in there. And I've seen some good ones out there, being able to call out those specific details within that 140 character limit. I figure if so many people can convey their image or their opinions in 140 characters on Twitter, they should be able to do it on here as well. And this is really just a way to grab that attention, to be the one to stand out in there. So being as detailed and as specific as possible is going to be the best route for that. Bianna, I know we've got another example in here. Could we take a look at that one too, please? Awesome. So this one, oh, thank you. You all probably have seen this one out there as well, this LinkedIn Live Vimeo support position. This one is an older one that started a little last week, I believe. But we've got some great details in there. Again, some more specifics in there. Technology is listed, having some finance and healthcare and pharma experience. All of those details are great. So Bianna, what kind of responses did we receive? We got, how many did we receive total for this? Can we see that? All right, so we received about 5 different offers in here. Can we take a look at those specifics a little bit more? Okay, so we've got one person who's interested. I know that Dawn had mentioned showing your interest and your enthusiasm is important, but maybe with more than just one word, saying interested might get you a little bit more traction. That's great that you're interested, but what do you bring to the table? Yes, we can pull up your profile, but what about this is going to grab my attention? We've got, let's see, who else do we have in here? We've got someone who is a 20 veteran in the industry. I'm guessing a 20-year veteran of the industry. That's great. Looking forward to possibly working with you. Fantastic. Do you know Vimeo though? Do you know LinkedIn Live? That would be a great thing to call out.
Okay, can I just interrupt a minute with
Please.
the 20 veteran? It's a typo or grammatical error that will show to a hiring official for a temporary or permanent basis that you're not detail oriented.
True.
And so be careful of what you write down, because if there's a typo, if there's a grammatical error, they're going to assume, well, wow, this was in the pitch. What are they going to be like in the workday? So just.
That's a great point. And I think that this next pitch is also a great example of this. Eugene here has pointed out that he knows LinkedIn, but he also has pointed out that he knows Venmo, which is not the same as Vimeo. So again, that attention to detail is extremely important. Having the wrong bit of technology in there is not necessarily going to win you that, that contract. And I know we've got a couple of others in here. Sonali in here. Great. She's a certified meeting professional, over 3,000 hours of virtual event production. That's great. That gives me a good amount of information. It doesn't say whether she knows Vimeo specifically, but it could be a good launching point right away. And then we've got Emmy in here, who's got a nice introduction. We can see that she recently hosted a virtual event using Vimeo. So she got really specific in here. I don't know if the client ever contracted. I have not gone back to look, but this gives a lot of detail. It also gives some of her availability coming up so that if the client does like her, they can know right away, well, she said afternoons are best. Let me take a look at my schedule as well, so I can figure out how to do that. And again, same number of characters as everyone else, that 140 character limit. Emmy was able to put it all in there. So it is doable. It is possible. It just takes a little creativity sometimes, but it is possible. So those are pitches all that we wanted to show you, different pitches that people are sending out there, as well as what looks good, what doesn't, some of the ways to improve that. Now, let's say that you are identifying more with some of the more generic pitches out there, and you want to go back and spice it up and put forward a better offer. That's not a problem. You can go ahead and update and edit your submitted offer. It's really easy to do, just takes a couple of clicks. We've got a video that we will share with everyone so that we can help you figure all of that out. And we'll be sure to follow that up with an email as well. But it's really easy just to go right in, click on edit, and submit your updated offer. So
I actually posted that on chat, so you will see that.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lana. That's excellent. So make sure that you keep an eye on that chat. Oh, I see it right there right now. Wonderful. Excellent. So those are pitches. And again, I just wanted to touch on that real briefly because I know that today we're here to discuss reviews. So again, if you've got questions, please pop in. Go for it, Lana.
Before you go into that, there was a message from Beth Daniels, and she said, I recall on a previous town hall, because of limited characters in the pitch, there was some leeway with punctuation, etc. I am details, so the 140 characters can be limiting. So I think what she's saying is, and I'm going to reference what Dawn said, is if the punctuation or abbreviations are used, that should that be a problem or not a problem? If you're trying to use and condense what you're saying into 140 characters.
Right. We want to send a concise message, and yet with 140 characters, sometimes you go, okay, what can I leave out? Like the 20 years, we all believe we're clear what that person's trying to convey, so they left out, what's a detailed. So that's where I go, I don't want somebody to think I'm not detailed because I'm leaving something out to make it fit. So I think there's kind of finding the balance, I guess, making sure that it's clear and concise.
And it is a juggling balance for sure. And Dawn, please feel free to correct me in this, but I think that there are some standard abbreviations that are fairly universal. So YR for year, if you were to put 20 YR, most people would be able to know that means 20 year, and it's only 2 characters that way. So it's not a whole lot. Can you use an ampersand instead of putting the word and?
Right.
You don't need to use the Oxford comma, although I am partial to such a thing, but you can be judicious in that way. And again, I think that there are certain universal abbreviations that you can use so that you look detail oriented without having to compromise a whole lot of space on something silly like the word year.
Now, go ahead, Beth.
I was just going to ask, the 140 characters, is that something set by Cadre?
It is.
The system? Okay, I assume so.
Yeah.
The one point I want to make, and it is something with trying to decide what you're going to put in those 140 characters. And I think that the person who's hiring this person cares more about your recent experience, your technology knowledge, how you relate to what they put down, what they're looking for, than the fact that you have 20 years experience. It's great that you have 20 years experience, but is the most important thing is that you know Vimeo, is the most important thing that you know Cvent. Find out what the most important thing is, because even though 20 years is wonderful, and I've got more than that, and I keep on leaning on that too, but it's more important of what they're looking for and the skill sets of the person. So that's what you should put emphasis on. It used to be called an elevator pitch. And for those of us who worked in buildings where we had elevators, you had to, within 20 floors, be able to tell somebody who you are and why you're great. And, I had a mother who, she'd get on the elevator and within 20 floors, she could show all the pictures of her grandchildren, and we would know the whole history of the family. So convert that over into who you are and why it's important.
That's perfect. I love that advice. And the elevator pitch is such a appropriate comparison for that as well. I don't want to take up much more time on this because I know that we are here dedicated to reviews, but if it is a topic that people are especially interested in, we can absolutely dedicate future town halls to this one topic and really dive in and get into the meatiness of it if you would like. So just let me know, let all of us know, let someone know. We are happy to discuss that. But let's dive into reviews, because I know that is another question our support team gets asked frequently. How do I get those stars? Why does it say new to Cadre on my name? I've been here for years. Well, it says new to Cadre because you don't have any reviews yet. So Bianna, would you share your screen? Lana, would you kick us off and show us when you do get those reviews, where do you see them? How do you view it? How do you get those reviews and all of that good stuff? Lana, I'm going to turn it over to you, my dear.
Okay. Usually what we often get asked three general questions about reviews. And today we're going to walk through each one of those questions kind of step by step. And one of them is, how do I view my reviews? How do you look at them yourself? How do I get reviews? And how do I request a review from a client outside of Cadre? So we're going to start with logging. First of all, what you're going to do is log into your account, and we're into now Emily Reyes' account. You are now on your dashboard, and in the upper right hand, upper left hand, you're going to see your picture. And under that picture, you're going to see a star. And now you're going to press on that star. And another pop-up will happen, and those will be your reviews. Now you're going to notice on the reviews a couple things. The reviews never have or mention the company or the client's name, the manager's name. What it does is it actually talks to you about what they felt your performance was, and they star you or review you in that manner. The second thing you're going to notice is that there's you'll see a little check mark there, a green check mark. That means that review came from a Cadre client. If you do not have that check mark, the check mark then tells you, with no check mark, it tells you the review came from a client outside of Cadre. So those are kind of things to look at when you go in to look at your review. It's probably best, and I'm going to recommend that when you go to try to view your reviews, you use your computer. Sometimes it's a little harder to do on your phone. So it's better to dial in on your computer or log in on your computer and review your reviews. Okay, so that's how you view your reviews. Now let's go to how do you get your reviews. There are two ways. Cadre recognizes how important reviews are. So we actually had an automated review type of response. After the first 48 hours of an event, the end of an event, Cadre sends out an email to the client. And that client, in that email, there's a link to go to an online review page. And they will then be able to review you, and it'll automatically populate into under your star area. And they rate you by star, and then they rate you by what your performance is. And again, you saw what the reviews look like. So that's an automated review, and that happens without any effort on your part. We do it for you. We make that happen. The other way is, let's say a month goes by and the client hasn't given you a review. And often it's because they're terribly busy. It's not because they don't want to review you, but you're probably not on their priority list at the time because they're doing all the back in the house kind of, and you've all been meeting planners, you know what that's like. So if you want, you can now, after about a month, you might want to initiate a review. And then what you do, again, you log into your profile. Now, if you're looking at the profile, there's two areas that you can go to request a review. One, you have in the center of your it says leave review and request a review. Now, leave a review is what you leave for, and we'll talk about that another time, but now we're talking about how do you request a review and get one. You go to request a review. Over to the side, you'll see how many events you work, because automatically after you work an event, that client's name and that image that you see down there, the image and the little button that says view will populate. And that's one area. Now if you go to the far right, you'll see request a review, same type of thing. Brianna, why don't you press on that and click on that? It'll say there's 10 events that you worked. Okay, now you'll go into whichever event you want to get a review from. And you want to do it from all of them, but this was just to give you an example. When you click, oh, she's ahead of me already. You click view, and then you go to the top right, go move up. And there's three buttons: send a message, request a view, and options. And you click request review. And again, it will automatically go to the client. Again, that's the second time they'll get a request to write a review for you. So those are the two ways right now to request a review, and places that you can go to do that. So remember, if the first one is automated, we do it for you. The second one, if a month later you didn't get a review and you feel like you want to request a review, after the second time, you probably you will not have a chance to send out another request to review, because you don't want to become a pest. Sometimes, I think it isn't that they didn't like how you worked. Sometimes people just don't give it the focus, but that's how you can get more stars under your name. All right, so now the third question that we always get is, I'm new to Cadre. I haven't worked a Cadre event. I want to get those stars under there, under my name, because it's so really important. Our client looks at, those reviews you saw in the beginning. The client actually looks at those when he's sometimes determining who to hire for a freelancer. And that particularly would mean he had no experience with you, he or she had no experience with you, you're new, and they want to see how you perform, and it kind of validates what you're saying that you're capable of doing, and but you have experience outside of Cadre, so you want to be able to get and request a review from one of your outside people. Again, you're going to log in to your screen and you're going to focus on the left-hand side, go down to promote yourself, click on promote yourself, and it says view public profile. Now I'm not going to say, okay, we'll go back to that. We'll go back to that later. All right, so now you know what this looks like. You probably have all seen this. You're going to share your profile. And when you share your profile, you're going to, you notice you can share it on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, but you really want to send it to one of your clients that you've worked with outside of Cadre. So you can now copy the link, which is down where those looks like two little envelopes. Copy that link. You have the email for the person that you're trying to get a review from. Send that with a note saying, I'd love for you to give me a review. Please click on this link and go into write a review. Now let's show what write a review looks like, Fiona. So they'll go in there and scroll down and they'll write a review. They'll say exactly what event. I think you can click continue. Maybe we can show them. Oh, it won't. We have to write something. We'll just write anything in there to show you how this works. And then they fill in all this stuff, their phone number. They then submit it, and it will go automatic. You won't have to do a thing. It'll automatically go into your review column, but it won't have that little red, green check mark. It'll have, it'll just be blank. So that's one way of requesting a view for a client outside of Cadre. Now we are working on something new and exciting, and we're not quite ready to launch it yet, so we're not going to talk about it today, but we'll definitely
tease it.
It's over here. It's over here, and actually it looks like it's going to work, but we'd rather have everything pretty, and this is even easier. This would be like, not only will you be able to add your experience on yourself, it goes directly to the client for his acceptance of the review, and it'll go, you don't need approval. It goes actually into your review file. So it'll even be simpler than the one that we're currently doing, but we're not quite ready to do that yet. And when we are, we're going to be very excited, and we'll be sending out an email to all of you. So that's kind of an overview of how you get a review, how you can view a view, and how you can get a review from a client outside of Cadre. And it's really important to get it from outside of Cadre, because if you're new to Cadre and you haven't any of those stars, this is a great way to start adding that up.
Lana, do you know, is there a character limit to the reviews like there is for the pitches?
Actually, now you stumped me, Kate. I don't know if there is or not. No, there is not. No, there is not.
Excellent. And anyone that has that link for write a review can leave a review. It doesn't matter whether they were your lead or whether it was the meeting planner themselves. As long as they've got that link to write a review, they can leave you that feedback. And as Lana and Biana just showed everyone, they'll be able to put in their contact information so that if there's ever any question, we know who to go back to and contact. So yes, absolutely. Go into that view public profile, do that write a review link, copy that and send that to all of your previous contacts or current contacts outside of Cadre. As Lana was saying, it's a great way to build up those reviews and get those stars while you are also waiting to get contracted here in Cadre. That's fantastic. It is just about half past. I would love to open it up now to more questions. We're happy to discuss questions about anything that we've discussed today or anything else. Also, if you have suggestions or ideas, we're happy to discuss and listen to those as well. I see we've got a hand raised with Jennifer. Please go ahead, Jennifer. Happy to hear from you.
Okay, it's great that we have the opportunity to get the reviews from outside Cadre, non-Cadre clients that we're working with that come through us through Cadre or otherwise. How the heck do we get reviews from our Cadre team or for the programs that we've already worked through Cadre? Because right now it still shows is that I have 0 stars, but I've worked, 8 programs this year and I have 0 reviews. And that hurts me from getting other potential, jobs with other clients within Cadre that, that are booking. What do I need to do differently, or what needs to happen?
Sure, that's a great question. As Lana mentioned, clients automatically get an email to remind them to leave that feedback, but as we all know, it sometimes falls through the cracks. That's where that request review. Bianna, would you share your screen again of Emily's profile? That's where that request review portion on the excuse me, on her dashboard is going to come into play. And once we pull that up, I'll be able to show you in just a sec. There we go. Yep. That request review area.
So when I'm getting booked on a program through Kim or Ashley, are they the client that is getting this request to review, or is it the lead TD, or is it the client of the program? Because on the last call I had asked that, and I asked them, do I need to reach out to the MEM or the client? And they said, absolutely not. Do not reach out to the client.
Correct. So any questions that you have regarding the program itself, go to Ashley, go to Kim. When it comes to getting reviews and feedback from those, we have it programmed in such a way so that the whomever merits informs Kim or Ashley is going to be receiving that information or submitting that information. They're the ones who receive that email. So when you send the request review, the email goes to them, which is why we're suggesting not spamming their inbox. But it also means that it's going directly to the person who should be leaving the review rather than going to an account manager who would then forward it on or get stuck in their email. So it is going directly to them. It's just a matter of getting them to come in to take that time and put the review in. But the link is happening, the connection is happening, and it is going to those right people.
Can you clarify for us who that's going to? Is that going to the MEM on the program when it's through merits, or is it going to the lead TD?
It depends on each program. It depends on each program, how merits, and that would be a merits specific question, but we don't do just merits in here. So
I understand.
Merits, it's going to be merit specific. I don't work that particular client, so I don't know who they specifically have it set up for. But that would be something that you could ask your account manager, Kim or Ashley, because they would definitely have that information.
That would be great, because the last time I asked, do we hit up the lead, the MEM, or the client? And they said, no, none. So now you're telling us that we should be hitting up one, but we have no idea who that is. Okay, so I'll follow up with them and hopefully I can get some more clarity that doesn't say no again.
You really don't need to hit up anyone. It all just happens automatically in here. I know that you're looking to do follow-up, and the follow-up does get done all through here. But again, if you want additional clarification, your account manager will be the one for that for sure.
No. Let me
Thank you.
I hit the mute button, but I'm just turning the volume down. I'm just listening to a webinar. I can talk.
Excellent. What other questions do we have out there? Again, going and getting that direct feedback is going to be the best way to do it, and going out to those outside clients is going to be through that write a review portion of it. What else can we help answer for everyone out there? I see a few hands. Let's see. Rory Montali, is that who I see a hand?
Yes. Yes.
What can we do? What can we do to help answer?
Thank you. So is there any way I can actually work with somebody in your office to look at my profile? Because I'm saying certified event planner. I don't even know if that's even matter. Like, I don't know, I'm saying certified event planner, and then I try to pull something from there. And I don't want to be like an ego. I just want to feel more heart to someone, like I'm really good, but it's hard to, I need help with like looking at my profile and seeing like, how can I upload a video, and how can, is there one-on-one like to actually call in and help somebody with mine?
We don't have that at the moment. We do have a whole bunch of videos that will help you figure out how to post a video, the best way to format your video, how to submit your offers, how to edit any offers that you have submitted and want to update. So we have a whole bunch of our knowledge base and our YouTube video. If it sounds like there's a little feedback, I'm not sure who that might be, but if you would, please mute. Thank you so much. But Lana, if you could, would you add our YouTube channel and our knowledge base in there? It has all of those answers for you in terms of how to build out your profile. Everyone's profile, of course, is going to be different and specific to you. But we're hoping that with these town halls and showing some of the screenshots as we keep going and keep growing, that it'll help you determine what looks and works best on your profile. But my suggestion every single time is be as detailed as possible in your profile. Every skill, every certification, every expertise, every detail that you add in there is searchable. So whether it's being searched on Google, looking for freelancers that know food and beverage and Spanish or whatever it happens to be, but it's also a filter within the platform itself. So, so being able to show that CVent on arrival, having that level of detail in there is going to help you stand out as well. So that would be my suggestion. It doesn't take very long to complete your profile, but getting all of the details in there is going to be as important as getting that pitch just right. So we don't have a one-on-one consultation. We might look into that later on if it's something that other people are interested in.
I would pay you. I would pay you.
Well, then we might consider it even more.
With your membership of your yearly, background check, do you want a one-on-one once a year and you pay a certain amount just so you have revenue on your end? And then it's easier for me because not everyone's auditorial watch video and figuring out how to implement. So my next thing is the question I had was, should I say in the 140 words certified event planner, or is that really not necessary? They don't really care, the client, right?
It depends on what they're looking for. If in their posting, they are looking specifically for a certified event planner, I absolutely would put it in there. Either way, I would absolutely make sure you have it listed in your skills and in your certifications. Because for the most, not everyone is going to be a CMP, a CEP, all of those, but you've got the experience. Just make sure it's in those skills so that as people are filtering and looking, they can find you'll show up in those filters.
Can you give an example of certain verbiage that really have been really successful? Not that we're going to plagiarize, but just to get an idea of because you can't see other people, what they're writing. You can only go with what you're writing. Mm-hmm. So it's like you can Google anyone's resume, right? And you can find something, but you can't find what's really working. Is there any kind of scripts, not that we can use them directly, but use our own flair, but just to get some sort of content of
Sure. So in those pitches, like we were showing earlier, I absolutely would recommend tailoring your pitch to be more like Emily Reyes's pitch, where she had a nice intro. She spoke specifically to the client's need, the fact that she knows Vimeo, she just used it on a program, and she's mentioned just how big it was. So use that as a reference and then zhuzh it up to be your style. Again, she did it all in 140 characters. She was able to put a nice greeting in there, put very specific details in there. And she also put in there when she's available for a conversation, which makes it even easier to schedule her down the line. So we will go ahead and we'll send out those screenshots via email for everyone so that you all can reference that as well. But that absolutely would be my recommendation. Get those pitches down. Don't be flowery, be concise, and drive home those very specific details. The more specific, the better it's going to be. And again, that attention to detail, knowing that it's Vimeo and not Venmo is a big deal, of course.
Kate, can I just add?
Please.
Follow the directions in the ad. That's it.
Yeah.
If they're looking for specific experience and you have that, make sure that's in your pitch. If they're not looking for a certified event planner or event manager, they can see that in your background if they do more detail on you. But if they're not looking for that, don't waste the words on that. Look for the key things that you can tell they're looking for. Follow the directions in the ad.
Thanks, Dawn. That is perfect. Beth, I think you had your hand up next. What can we do?
Thank you. I wanted to go back to Jennifer's just as a suggestion, because as she was asking the question, I've kind of hit the same roadblock where I've sent a few links out to people asking for a review. And maybe one thing to start with is when you go on program or before the program even starts, say, hey, I'm building up my Cadre resume, however you want to word it, and who will be the person, who can be my contact? I'd love to get a review, and how important that is. And just starting that conversation in the very beginning. And the other thing that you and I talked about in Las Vegas is I have letters of recommendations from past clients. I've reached out to just say, hey, I have something from, April of this year from something we worked on together. Do you mind if I do this? And then I was able to use their contact information. I basically filled it out on their behalf. I have the email or the reference, whatever it is, as backup. So I'm just not plagiarizing, making things up, of course. But that's helped me add some reviews on mine. And then the promote area where I wrote my own reviews about programs that I've done and the various, was it an incentive? Was it a meeting? What were some of the components for it? So some overarching ideas to hopefully help.
That's awesome. Thank you for reminding me about those suggestions that we had back in Las Vegas as well, Beth. As you know, that week is a bit of a blur. It's a long week, but so that it really helps having you point that out. And I think that especially if you've got those those pieces of feedback already in writing, just getting that confirmation that you can share that and post it is always.
And one last thing, people are busy. We all know it, even though we're sitting here on this call, we're all busy. Offer to, because sometimes they don't know what you need for them to say. So offer, just say, if I put something together, do you mind putting it in your own words? Just getting it started. And I know I have written reviews for people have written for me, and just getting that started is a huge windfall. Helps everybody.
Absolutely. And it bridges that gap to make it actually happen for you too. That's a great suggestion too. Awesome. Thank you, Beth. Cassandra, it looks like you've had your hand up for a little while. How can we help you today?
That's okay. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Beth, that was a great suggestion. Thank you for that, because that was one of my questions. Can we write a review for someone, of course, getting their permission? Because I know like on site, there were so many people say, oh, great job. Can I write a review for you? Sure you can, but I haven't seen that review yet. So I was wondering the same thing, like, can I, those who said, hey, let me know if I can do anything, can I reach out and ask them or send the link as we were told to kind of so they can get them going on that review. So that answered that question. The other thing I want to kind of go back to the pitches. So I noticed that sometimes there's some great pitches, including mine, but it takes a long time, it seems, to get the feedback, or to find out whether that assignment has been accepted, whether it's canceled. So how can we get that a little sooner? What's the delay there?
It really is. It's a great question, and one that we've gotten in previous town halls, and it's really a client by client basis. I know that a lot of the postings that have been they get posted and then they kind of drag their feet a bit on answering questions or even initiating interviews or even contracting anyone. A lot of those, what I have found in talking with those clients, is they're usually waiting for approval from their higher ups to go ahead and pull the trigger and get those contracts. So that's usually the situation. We are on the back end following up with those clients, making sure that whoever they're looking for, that they're finding the right people, that they know how to get in touch with you to start that interview. But again, most of the ones that I've talked to recently have been in that holding pattern of waiting for the approval from either their client or from their manager to make that happen.
And even if they're waiting, Kate, maybe something they could do, like if they already know who they're going to choose, then let everybody else know. So that way, it's almost like they just waited all the way out where you could have taken another, you know, and I
Sure.
know you can do that anyway, but if you really like, I think like Dawn was saying earlier, it's making that connection. You really see something, you're like, wow, I would love to do that. That's really, you know, in my lane, you know, that kind of thing. And you wait for it and you thinking, you know, you possibly could get it,
Mhm.
you know, it kind of could, you know, throw you off a bit. But yeah, that'd be great. They can let us know a little sooner.
Yeah, we will keep working with our clients to keep that communication flowing. Because it's a learning curve, you know, it's a learning curve for you figuring out the platform. It's a learning curve for them as well. I think we're getting better with them little by little. But again, learning curve. So we'll work on that for sure. Because I know
Thank
it can
you.
be really frustrating just having it hang out there. So yeah, absolutely. Great questions. Thank you, Cassandra. Beth, you're back again. What can I do for you?
I was just going to ask, I'm going to use Merits just because I know they're one of the bigger providers. I've worked with them for years. Are they kind of requested, or is it the standard of them to provide some sort of a review? I mean, in other words, do they know the importance of it on our end?
Yes. Yeah, that's a great question. And yes, they do. They do know the significance, the importance of it for you on your end, because it's important for them too, as they bring new people into their fold. They're looking at feedback from other clients as well. So they realize it's a two-way street. Now, all of that said, we know that clients are busy, clients get inundated with all sorts of things. So I think that some of the suggestions that you and Cassandra and a few others have put out today in terms of, you know, offering to provide some words, getting their approval and providing it that way. So just a couple different ways of getting that feedback for yourself and adding it to your profile, which I think is a great idea. So excellent. We've got about 15 minutes left. This is going really well. Cassandra, you're back. What can I do for you?
Another question. So I noticed that on my profile, my dashboard, it has like request review. I know we talked about going to by our actual profile picture and seeing the stars. So where I see Ashley, for example, I see Ashley about a certain program and it says view. So when I go to that, that is not per se reviews for me. That is just for us to like request reviews for that program, if I'm saying that right. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, so the request review is to request from Ashley, or if Biana was your client or whomever the client is, requesting the review for your performance on that event, on that project. The leave feedback or leave a review portion, that's where, that's the opportunity for you to leave feedback on the client and on the event, because it's also important for you and for others to know, you know, this person's a good person to work for, this person is completely disorganized and you're going to be doing all of the work. You want to know that before you go into all of that. Now, all of that said, we're still building that portion of Cadre up. We are relatively new. For those of you who are newer to us, again, welcome. And to give a little background, we officially launched and brought people on board in 2019, and you all know what happened right after that. So there are so many different developmental aspects that we have in the works, which Lana alluded to a little earlier, and that's part of it as well. So we're open to ideas and suggestions, and we're always growing as well. So I hope that helped.
So I guess I have to give Ashley a call or email just for clarity, because I'm not sure if I'm fully understanding what I have in front of me right now. So I'll definitely reach out to her. I'll do that.
Okay, Cassandra, I think when you're looking at your, and I'm just assuming now that you're looking at your dashboard, you're seeing a section leave a review, and then you're also seeing a section request a review. Is that what you're referencing?
Yeah, this is the part where Ashley's picture is there, and it's right under her picture, it says leave a review, but I know that I did a review, so I'm not sure if it's still asking me, or is that for the people who attended that meeting? Because when I click on it.
Yeah, if you go down a little further, if you've worked an event, you'll have a chance to request a review. And so it's leave a review and request a review. And if you request a review, then it goes automatically to the client to give you a review. If you
Okay.
leave a review, then you are doing the review about that
Right.
particular.
Mhm.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense to you?
Yeah, I see that part. It just seemed like this is another section. I may be in the wrong section maybe, but
We can
Is-
help take a look.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely. Just get in touch with us. We're happy to help. And
Okay.
this might be something that our support team could help with
Okay.
because it's Cadre platform specific. So feel free to reach out to us and our
Okay, will
support
do.
team. Yeah,
Thank you.
And
absolutely. Thanks, Cassandra.
I'm gonna give you the email to reach out to if you have.
Perfect. Yeah, that'll
Okay,
be in
great.
chat. So anyone with any
Thank you so
other
much, Lana.
questions. Perfect. Beth, how can we help you today?
I know we just mentioned Merit being a lead client of Cadre. Is there a list of other clients that use the platform?
We do not have that publicly posted.
Okay.
Clients like their anonymity and they like to have their own privacy, of course. So we do not have a list of publicly posted clients, but we've got a wide variety out there. And I think that this is a great opportunity to mention the different types of clients that we have out there. We have what we refer to are two different types. We've got what we refer to as managed clients, and that would be those large behemoths like Merits and other large ones like that. And those get managed by some of our in-house account managers, and they're the ones who put the information in. They do the contracting and they send the details over to the large client. Now we have a whole bunch of other clients, large and small alike, who go in and do it all themselves. They create their profile, they post their project, they're doing the interviews, and they're doing all of the contracting all themselves. So we've got two different groups out there. So the person that you see in that little bubble in once you're contracted, that's your main contact. That's the person who's managing the staffing and managing the details for that event within Cadre. All that said, they may reach out to you and say, hey, it's Kate, but Joanne is going to be in touch with you directly with more details. And that happens, of course, too. But just so that you know, there are two different groups out there, which is why it's important to know who to get in touch with depending on your question. So I think that that's also really good segue as well. So Cassandra, to your question about, what is it I'm looking at? That actually would probably be better for our support team because they know the platform and how it's all laid out and how it all works versus a question specific to your event or specific to your contract. Getting in touch with the contracting manager, that person in that little picture, they're going to be the one that's going to have the information for you. Now, whether you use the messaging and get those details squared away, that's going to be the best way to get those questions answered once you're contracted. And lastly, if you have any questions about payment at all, when are you getting paid? Why is this expense incorrect? Any of those details, our accounting team is wonderful and they are able to help you with that. And so our accounting team, accounting@hirecadre.com, they'll be the ones to reach out to. So Lana, if you would share our the two different emails out there for getting in touch with questions, support@hirecadre and accounting@hirecadre. Those are going to be the places to get in touch. And then again, if you've got questions specific to your contract, use the messaging within Cadre to get that question answered. Wonderful. We have a handful of minutes left. Do we have any additional questions I can help answer for anybody at this time? I'm not seeing any hands right now. That's wonderful, not a problem. Well, we've gotten some really great suggestions for some additional growth within Cadre. We'll look into how we might be able to start doing some one-on-one consultations for people, because it does sound like something that people are interested in. And we will all, of course, be back next month with a whole new town hall where we are happy to answer those questions that you have coming up. So keep your eyes open for that registration, those details. Again, we will also follow up this particular town hall with a few follow-up emails, including the recording from today, as well as all of those screenshots that we showed you today for those pitches. Again, if you have questions, we are happy to answer them for you. If you have suggestions for the next town hall or future town halls, we would love to hear that as well. Again, support@hirecadre.com. I'm going to let us go a couple minutes early, reclaim those few minutes of your Tuesday. Thank you everyone so much for your time. We love seeing you here. Enjoy your Tuesday. We'll see you all in November. Thanks, everybody.